What's going on, Geeks and Geekettes? It's Steady here with the Countdown to the Geekcast, and we're at the Queens and Kings horror event here in San Antonio, Texas. And I'm sitting with one of the iconic, one of the best final girls in all of horror, Miss Scout Taylor Compton. How's it going?
Hi, good. How are you doing?
I'm fantastic.
That was a great introduction. Can you come with me everywhere?
Yes. Yes, I can.
I love that.
We're talking about Boss tomorrow.
Yes.
Welcome to San Antonio.
Oh, I love it.
Is this your first sort of event in San Antonio?
Yes, first event in San Antonio, but I've been to Texas. This bitch over here, Danielle, moved to Austin, so she's trying to get me to come over here. She's like, come over, but it's hot, man.
We're sorry about that.
It's so hot. It's humid. That's what it is. I grew up in the high desert. I love the desert.
Yeah.
But it's humid, so it adds on, like, it feels like a monkey's on my back or something.
A
I'm
big
like,
wool blanket.
Yes,
I apologize, and the allergies as well are like insane.
Which I don't have allergies, but I have so many allergies here.
I apologize.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's like that year round.
Yeah.
How has the event been going so far?
It's been going good, man. Everybody's so nice. Everybody is so sweet. I mean, I grew up coming to these. Like, my dad's a mortician in a corner, and I've been a fan of, like, horror movies since I was a kid. So I mean, this is, like, why I do this. Like, I mean, if we didn't have the fans, I mean, they're equally the reason that these movies are, you know, constantly being made or praised or whatever. So it's like a give and give situation.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love it. I have so much fun.
How does it feel after all these years? You know, you still have fans coming up to you, telling you how much they loved your and Rob's really vision and interpretation of Laurie Strode and just the entire project.
It's so cool. I mean, you'll never get over that feeling of someone, I mean, praising your work. You know, we it's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that went into these movies, and I just love that when people, you know, have positive things to say or you know, respect your work, and it's just, yeah, it's such an honor to have that.
Your role, and correct me if I'm off base here, it just felt like such an intense, emotional journey for you, not just in one film, but both. How much energy or how taxing is that, both mentally and just energy-wise, to kind of go through that entire process?
You know, it's crazy. I mean, I have so much energy anyways. So I feel like what most like people would feel, I probably didn't feel that because I do have so much energy to give. And I mean, it was like a playground every day on set. Like, you're surrounded by such good, smart, welcoming, like, you know, people that are so stoked to be there and be doing these types of movies. So it didn't feel like work, it didn't feel like exhaustion, it just felt like a party every day. We were just so excited to be there and do it. But I mean, yeah, you know, Laurie as a whole, she went through a lot of trauma.
Oh, for sure.
And, you know, I really love the reflection that Rob does, especially in the second one, showing literally Danielle and I and Brad. I mean, we literally, you can see our scars.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, it just shows the true meaning of, like, what trauma does to a person. And we're not all, we're only human, we're fragile.
Right. Absolutely.
And it showed that. And it wasn't just like, oh, we're fine. It's like, no, this is what trauma does. And it, you know, you carry that for a lifetime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk to us about the process of working with Rob. Is he very hands-on? Does he kind of have you guys on a tight leash? Does he let you guys explore the scenes a little bit? How does he work?
All of the above.
Really?
Yeah, man. He is so hands-on. There's so many stories that I tell all the time, but a lot of the time, like, before we would even be on set, I mean, actors come to set like an hour and a half to 2 hours before the crew, before the director, because we got to get made up and all that shit.
Yeah.
But he would be there, like, in the dark, and you'd, like, turn on lights, and he'd be, like, spray painting, like, you know, our walls, and I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I just wanted to be perfect. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, you know that you, like, hired someone to do this. He's like, yeah, but, you know, I just wanted to look great and good. And
that's fantastic.
Yeah, he's so great, and he's like one of those directors. I have never worked with a director equally as great as him. I mean, he just holds, like, such a high level. I mean, he's great with actors. He lets us play around. I mean, he's just a smart guy too, and he's very gentle, and like to see him and his wife on set, he's super romantic. I'm like, fuck off. Like, you're just awesome, man. You're just such a good dude. And he's a great performer.
Oh my God, yes he is.
I'm like, man, when do you sleep?
Have you seen him live?
Oh, like 8 times.
Oh, I'm jealous.
Yeah.
I've only seen him once, but it was insane. Yeah, so I loved it.
He puts on a good show.
Yeah.
And he gets the crowd up. It's hard to get the crowd up these days.
Oh,
everybody
yes.
wants to sit down at a concert now,
No,
and he's like,
not
"Shut
him.
the fuck up,"
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Is he maybe one of the main reasons why you wanted to start directing? Did he help kind of inspire that?
Yeah, I would say so. It's funny because like actually right before the audition process of Halloween, I think I was doing Criminal Minds. I was doing an episode of Criminal Minds, and I was watching Devil's Rejects in my trailer with a couple of co-stars of mine, and I was like, I'm gonna work with this director. Like, this is so good. And then the audition, the Rob Zombie audition came in. We didn't know it was Halloween.
Right.
And seeing him work, yeah, most definitely. I mean, he's definitely implanted that sort of brain. And the thing about Rob is, yes, he's very smart. He's very dedicated to the story. He
very
works
passionate.
well. Yes, very passionate. Works well with actors. But he also realizes that it's a community effort.
Right.
And that's what I stand for so much. It's
right.
like you need a community behind you. It's
right.
not just like, your fucking show, like I'm the lead singer of a band. It's like, it's a community effort.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's what I strive to be when I am a director.
Speaking of which, do you have any projects you want to talk about, either both in acting or getting behind the camera?
I do. I can't really talk about like what I'm going to direct this year, but I'm writing something right now that I'm very, very passionate about. I've been wanting to do this forever, and then I do have a couple of horror movies that that I want to direct as well, and then I'm working on a series about my life, like this coming of age story about a young girl being raised in a mortuary by her father who doesn't know what the fuck he's doing, which was my life. So that's something I'm working on. I just got done doing a movie with Chrissy Metz called Good Luck
fantastic.
Nightingale. It's like a Christmas horror creature movie. It's going to be amazing.
Awesome.
I have a movie where I played a vampire. It's gonna come out, sexy fucking vampire. So yeah, I've got so much shit, like on the table. Working with Gabrielle Stone, which is Dee Wallace's daughter. She's gonna direct me in a movie next year.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff, and Talk Scary to Me with Danielle, and all the ideas that Danielle and I pop out. We're like, we should do a movie. And she's like, get out of my head. She's like, we should do this. Get out of my head. I'm like, I know.
Write these all down.
Yeah, right. I know. Keep it on the list. That's her job.
And I love the hat. So Talk Scary to Me was a podcast that you and Danielle Harris started, I think it was early this year?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So, A, what brought the idea of, and B, how long you and her worked together in the movie, so have y'all just had this idea for a while now, and finally just said, let's go for it?
No. It took a long time to get her to be my friend.
What?
I tell her this all the time. That literally it took so long. But I guess it was an age thing, I was 17, she was 30. So now we are finally like in this like little like nice zone.
There you go.
And I don't know, we were just like kind of like shooting the shit one night, and her husband was like, you guys have great chemistry. Like, why aren't you guys doing like some sort of podcast? And we like to be real,
Absolutely.
And so, I feel like not a lot of people are, they're like very afraid. And so we just started to do it. We're actually coming up on our 1-year anniversary.
Congrats.
Yeah, so it's so crazy, but we're excited.
That's fantastic.
Thank you.
Where can people at home find you guys? Talk Scary to Me.
Yes, so we have an Instagram, Talk Scary to Me podcast, and then we have our Patreon, Talk Scary to Me. And then listen to our podcast, Talk Scary to Me, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all of that stuff.
Fantastic. I got one last question for you, and you might be expecting this.
Okay.
There was a little movie that came out this week called Halloween Ends. I don't know if you've heard about it.
What is that?
Or maybe if you got invited to like the world premiere or anything.
Oh, who's in that?
Like
Nicolas
Jamie
Cage?
Lee Curtis, if
Jamie
you've heard
Lee
of her.
Curtis, James. Yeah. Yeah, of course, I've heard about it.
I know you kind of don't want to say a lot about it, and I know
boy.
you and Danielle also have an episode where you kind of go into depth with it, but I did want to get your perspective. You've played Laurie before, you've been in Halloween movies. How did this one, what was your just initial reaction? Was it a positive reaction? I did, I saw it Wednesday.
Okay, what'd you think?
Honestly,
Yeah?
I was surprised
Yes.
because it's a very different tone
Yes.
from like the very beginning. I was like, what is this music? Why are we getting into this kind of mindset? But it was a very perfect way to kind of set you up for the rest of it. It was different. This is the most different Halloween movie
Ever. Yeah.
Not including Season of the Witch, which was a different movie altogether.
Yeah.
But
Do we count that one?
I know that there's a lot of people online saying this didn't feel like a Halloween movie and that maybe one of the main characters wasn't in it a whole lot. To that I kind of say like...
You mean Michael?
I do mean Michael. To that I kind of say like, we have 11 other movies where like Michael's the main dude doing all the violence. I kind of feel like this was refreshing in a way.
I don't know. I don't know because this is, the whole thing, which you'll hear about it, listen to our podcast next Tuesday. The whole thing was that this is Jamie and Lori.
Right.
Her goodbye. Her end of her legacy.
I see
end
that.
of the legacy. Like she's not coming back. Like this is the end.
Yeah.
And so I feel like we needed, as fans of the franchise, I just don't think that this was the Michael Myers and Laurie Strode send-off.
For sure.
That I think we all deserve.
For sure.
At least like even those characters deserved.
Yeah.
I don't think, especially Michael. I felt bad.
You were surprised.
I felt bad, man. I was like, this is how they're gonna say goodbye. That's my own personal thing.
I got you.
Just because being a fan of the franchise and being a fan of Jamie Lee Curtis and Laurie Strode and Michael Myers, I was like, man, this is it, man. This is gonna be fucking epic. And it just kind of, I don't know, fell short for me.
Didn't meet your expectations.
Yeah.
It
didn't seem like a Halloween movie.
I agree with all that. Weirdly enough,
but there was cool shit in there.
There was.
Cool
I was
stuff.
thinking to myself like, hey, Michael has a Padawan. Like, I didn't know I needed to see this in my life, but I kind of dig it that he kind of, weirdly enough, kind of took like this, this person under his wing in a weird way. And I'm like, I don't know if this is something that I needed to see, but it's there, it's new, it's different, and it kind of felt weird and cool in some way. But you're right, the send-off, the big sort of epic conclusion maybe didn't fulfill the expectations of the majority of the fan base.
Yeah.
And I think we're seeing that.
Yeah. But if you love it, that's great. That's awesome.
Absolutely. Scout is going to be here in San Antonio at the Wonderland of America's Mall until 6 p.m. the rest of the day. So come by, see her. She's got a lot of get an autograph, get a photo with her. Come down and see all the other guests. We also got Danielle Harris, who's here as well. You're going to want to talk to her, so you still have time. Come down, and thank you so much for this interview.
Thank you.
One of my favorites by far.
Oh,
Thank
you're
you so
so
much.
sweet. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.